Rain, rain, go away. Come back another day. I don't know about you, but sometimes I find rain to be a real pain. A pain is an annoying thing. You can feel actual pain or figurative pain. If a person annoys you, then you can say that that person is a pain. Something that causes inconvenience or disruption is a pain. Something that is hard to do can be a pain. A person or thing can be a pain in the neck or a pain in the ass. There are phrases connected to rain, such as save it for a rainy day, which means to keep something back for when it is really needed. The thing in question is normally money. Then there is rain on my parade, which means to spoil someone's enjoyment or create a moody atmosphere at a happy time. I wonder if this rain will ever stop. Rain, rain, go away. Please come back another day.
Can you guess what the weather is like today? Go on, have a guess. It's a Sunday afternoon. How are you today? Yes, here we go again. It's another live stream for a Sunday afternoon, live from the birthplace of English. That is, of course, England. Hi everybody, this is Mr. Duncan in England. How are you today? Are you okay? I hope so. Are you happy? I really hope so. Can I first start by saying that I won't be needing these today because we have had a lot of rain over the past 48 hours. It's been raining so much. So it looks as if I won't be needing my sunglasses, although I think I will put them on for one last time, just to see what it feels like to be in the sunshine. Oh yes, I remember what it felt like. It feels quite nice actually when you're out in the sunshine, but sadly the sun has now disappeared. And we've had lots and lots of rain. Although, having said that, it would appear that the sun is trying to come out through all of those clouds. Let's have a look outside. Here we go. Straight away, a live view outside. You can see all the rain clouds. It doesn't look quite as bright or cheerful as it has over the past 4 or 5 weeks. We've had over a month of hot weather, but yesterday and also on Friday night, everything changed. It became very cool and we had lots of rain. Just to prove it, here is the rain that we had earlier today. For those who don't believe me, we have had so much rain. So here's a little bit of it for you to have a look at. Yes, it's been raining so much. This was earlier, just to prove that, yes, the weather has changed quite dramatically. And, well, what can I say? It was a good summer while it lasted. We had a great summer. It was all right, I suppose. Now, some people are saying that we might get lots of hot weather in a few days' time after the rain has passed. But I'm not sure, you see. I'm not sure. Who can tell nowadays? It would appear that the weather is so unpredictable. you really don't know what's going to happen next. It's very hard to judge what the weather is going to do next. So, to be honest, who knows? Who knows? It might be snowing next week. It could be doing anything. So there it is, the view outside. Very wet. So that was earlier, and this is now. We are now live from England. It's Mr. Duncan. That's me, by the way. I've been teaching English on YouTube for over 11 years, and I'm here again today, every Sunday, as live as this can be. It's true. So I suppose I should mention a couple of things first of all. One, Mr. Steve is here later on. Don't worry, Mr. Steve will be here. We have some contests coming up, although there won't be any prizes. I'm sorry about that. I can't afford prizes. But you will get a very special Mr. Duncan wave. So we have some little brain teasers coming up. We have the mystery object. Yeah! The mystery object is back by popular demand. So we have the mystery object. Also, we have the mystery chick as well. A little baby bird. And I want you to guess or to name the bird that you can see on the screen. That coming later on. And today we'll be talking about something that has been in the news once again. It is something that a lot of people are talking about. We will be talking all about drones. Whoop. There it goes. Will it come back? Oh, it's coming back. I think someone is spying on me. I have a strange feeling that someone is watching me with their drone. I'm not quite sure, but something is definitely going on. So we'll be talking about drones later on. It's also a day for poetry. We'll be talking all about poetry. And the reason why I'm doing that is because something very special happened a couple of days ago. On Friday night, I had one of my poems read out on television. I'm not joking. So I will be showing you later the moment when I became an internationally well-known poet. Also, Mr. Steve will be talking about poetry, and we'll also be talking about hobbies today. So many things to talk about. I'm not even sure if we will have time to fit them all in, because we have so much to talk about, so much to mention today. Not only that, we also have you on the live chat as well. Shall we have a look at the live chat? Okay, here it comes. The live chat is now on your screen. Spend a moment to look at what is happening on the live chat. Thank you very much for joining me and for taking your time to sit and watch and also listen. I hope I will be of some use. I hope I will help you with your English. So who is here first? Blue Thunder. Hello, Blue Thunder. Hello from Vietnam, and a big hello from England to Vietnam. Thank you for joining me. Julie G. Julie is second on the live chat. Also Francisco. Hi, Mr. Duncan, Mr. Steve, and all the classmates. Thank you very much. Obaidullah is also here. You are fourth. And in fifth place, Tomek. Hi there. Also, hello to Alice, Gosia, and Blue Thunder again. Also, Chris. Hi, Mr. Duncan. I hope your day is good. And also, Mr. Steve. He will be here in around about 15 minutes with some more of his thoughts on this thing we call life. That coming up later. Also, we have Attila. Hello, Attila. I haven't seen you for a long time on the live chat. Where have you been? What have you been doing? I hope it was fun. Jeff is here. Also Lemon Tree, Palmyra, and also Francisco. Tomek, Mr. Duncan, you are a good laugh. So I was looking forward to today's live stream. Yes, we have lots of things coming your way. Although I am sad to say that the weather has changed dramatically. We have now lost our lovely heat wave. It has been replaced with rain and cold wind. So it is quite chilly out. It's only 20 degrees today. It feels so cold. It feels like winter. Hi everybody, Aurora. Hello Aurora. Thank you very much for joining us today. Also Belarusia. Hello teacher and classmates. It is cold and wet in Buenos Aires. Now last Wednesday, Belarusia, you said you might have a cold. You might have a fever. So I hope you are feeling okay today. Saturino. Oh, here we go. Saturino is going to show off with the weather. Here, Mr. Duncan, it is hot and sunny, 38 Celsius. Thank you, Saturino. Sadly, we have lost all of our lovely weather. It has gone. I don't know where it's gone. I have a feeling that Saturino has taken our lovely weather. Mika! Thank goodness. We have some good news from Mika. The typhoon has gone. But some places have been damaged by the big waves and strong winds. But are you safe? Did you make it through? It seems like you have. Thank you, Mika, for that. And thanks for telling us that you are safe. Also, we have Reda. Hello, Reda. Reda Kajiti. I hope I pronounced your name right. Someone please say hi to me. Well, we've already said hi to you because you were first today on the live chat. It is raining cats and dogs. Well, it certainly was this morning. It was definitely raining this morning. Quite a lot. It is Sunday night for me, says Hoshino. I have a feeling that Hoshino is in Japan. Am I right? I think so. Also, we have Michelle. Hello, Michelle, or Mikel, from Italy. Is it sunny where you are? Because it's not sunny here, even though the sun is now trying to break through the clouds. In Cordoba, Argentina, we are in need of rain. Well, maybe we can send some of our English rain to you. Thank you, Sukat, for that. Hello, Mr. Duncan. Thank you for providing such great live streams. And I am watching from India. Hello, Anand, watching all the way, so far away in India. I hope you are staying cool where you are. Saikar is here as well. It's live, raining. Yes, we have had some rain this morning, although fortunately the rain has now disappeared. It has eased off. Hello, Belarusia from Tias. Hello, Tias. Thank you for saying hello to everyone. Also, Tias wants to say hello to Mika as well. Isn't that lovely? Chris is here with the sunny weather. Yes, I think so. And now we are all caught up with the live chat. If you want to say hello, if it's your first time on the live chat, don't forget to let me know. Tell me, Mr. Duncan, it is my first time here. And I will give you a special hello. Yes, we are live. You can see now it is 20 minutes past 2 on a Sunday afternoon here in England. And it's Mr. Duncan, that's me. I teach English on YouTube. For those who want to know when I'm on, well, you can catch me every Sunday, like now, from 2 p.m. UK time, and also on Wednesday, late and live. Every Wednesday I like to do something late for those who don't get the chance to catch me on Sunday. So if you can't see me on Sunday, then you can watch me live late on Wednesdays, 10 p.m. UK time. So don't forget that. And this week I have done some special live streams because we had the heat wave. We've had lots of hot weather. So I did some special live streams on my mobile phone during the week, and I hope you enjoyed those as well. I have been so busy this week. I have been very, very busy doing all sorts of things. I will show you something later. Well, first of all, let's have a look at some nature, shall we? Because you know I love nature so much. And this week there was a baby bird, a little tiny bird that had flown into my window. And sadly, it wasn't feeling very well. So I just happened to hear the sound, bunk, of the bird hitting the window. So I got my camera and I took some video footage, and there you can see outside my kitchen window, there it is. But do you know what the bird is? What is that bird? It is a baby goldfinch, for those who can read the screen. It is a baby goldfinch. So there it is, a little injured bird that decided to land near my house after hitting the window. But once again, there is some good news. The little bird flew away a few minutes later. This is something that happens very often where I live. We do get lots of birds hitting the windows because some of the windows on my house are quite large. So there it is, a lovely little baby goldfinch. And the one thing you might notice is that the goldfinch, when it's young, looks very different from the adult. So I'm sure a lot of people would never know that that was a goldfinch because it doesn't look anything like the adult. So there it was. I hope you enjoyed that. We also have some more nature coming a little bit later on. Some people were just talking about the crickets. Yes, of course, I have my little friend Chirpy the cricket. Ah, look, there's Chirpy. For those who don't like crickets, I'm sorry about that, but there is my little friend Chirpy. And the other night we were watching television. There was myself and also Mr. Steve, and we were watching TV. And imagine my surprise when someone on the television said, "Why don't you send an email to everyone watching? Why don't you send an email? You can send anything." So I decided to go into my studio and type a little poem, and I sent it live to them. And can you believe it? They actually read it out. They read my poem out and also said hello to me. So we'll have a look at that a little bit later on. Yes, you're right. We were watching the shopping channel. That's the channel that we were watching, and that's where my lovely poem was read out live. We'll have a look at that a little bit later on. Would you like to hear Chirpy? Here is Chirpy chirping in his little box. Where is he? Come on, Chirpy. Where are you? Here's Chirpy. So if you don't like crickets, please look away now. There's Chirpy. Hello, Chirpy. Can you see Chirpy? Chirpy is now chirping in his box. Can you hear him? Hello, Chirpy. And Chirpy wants to say hello to everyone on the live stream. So could you please send your special messages to Chirpy, and hopefully Chirpy will reply with a little chirp. Thank you, Chirpy. Isn't that lovely? So there's little Chirpy saying hello. By the way, the word chirpy can be used as an adjective to describe a person who is happy. So if a person is happy, if their character is a happy one, if they are very jolly, we can say that that person is very chirpy, very happy, very vibrant. They have a very sunny personality. They are very chirpy. Unfortunately today things are not very sunny. As you can see, my t-shirt today represents the rain that we are having. So unfortunately we are experiencing rain at the moment. I have been making lessons on YouTube for a very long time, and I thought today we would have a look at some of my lessons. Now here is an excerpt from one of my special lessons called Full English, a series of lessons taking a close look at the English language. So now we are going to take a look at one of my Full English lessons, but it's just an excerpt. And in this we are going to talk about the word nursery, also hobbies, and I will read a little poem just for you. Come on, Lady Liberty, give us a nice smile. Say cheese. There can be no doubt about the popularity of photography as a hobby. So many people are taking it up now. To take up something means to begin doing it as a hobby, activity, or interest. A serious hobbyist can be described as an amateur. So a person who takes photographs as a serious hobby can be described as an amateur photographer. It's amazing where a hobby can take you. For example, my interest in video cameras and video photography led me to making these video lessons, something I have now been doing for many years. So, who knows where that hobby will take you? There is nothing stopping you from taking an enjoyable pastime and turning it into a business. To do something you enjoy can lead you from being a keen amateur to a successful professional. That is, of course, as long as you keep at it and never give up. Do you have any hobbies? What interests do you have? Isn't it funny how some words have different meanings? For example, the word nursery. This noun has many meanings. It can be a room in a house for the use of a very young child. A child's playroom can be a nursery. A nursery can be a place where children are taken care of during the working day. A nursery school. A place or natural habitat which breeds or supports animals. This lake provides a vast nursery for fish. A nursery is also a place where young plants are grown for sale or for planting elsewhere. I bought this rose bush from the local nursery. The word nursery derives from the old French word for nurse, which itself is derived from the Latin word for nourish.
Halfway down the stairs is a stair where I sit. There isn't any other stair quite like it. I'm not at the bottom. I'm not at the top. So this is the stair where I always stop. Halfway up the stairs isn't up and isn't down. It isn't in the nursery, it isn't in the town. And all sorts of funny thoughts run round my head. It isn't really anywhere, it's somewhere else instead. Halfway down the stairs is a stair where I sit. There isn't any other stair quite like it. I'm not at the bottom, I'm not at the top. So this is the stair where I always stop.
I hope you enjoyed that, an excerpt from one of my full English lessons. Would you like to have a look outside, because the weather is actually becoming quite nice now. So just outside, let's have a look. I think the sun is trying to break through the clouds. I think it's trying its best. Let's have a look. There it is, a live shot now. You can see it's very windy, but I think those clouds are moving quite quickly now, and I think the sun is trying to break through. It really is. Whether it will succeed is, well, quite unlikely at the moment, because I think we're going to get lots more rain later on. I'm wondering how long I can carry on talking before Mr. Steve arrives. So I'm not really sure how long he's going to be, but I'm hoping it won't be very long. So I think he's just shouted 30 seconds. I don't know what Mr. Steve is doing. So let's have a look in the garden, because there are some birds on the bird feeder at the moment. There it is. And that is a live shot of the birds on the bird feeder. There aren't many there at the moment because Mr. Steve is by the window. So I think he keeps scaring them away. So there you can see the birds, and once again, looking into the distance, there is the view today. Very cloudy. Sadly, the sun has gone. There is not a ray of sunshine anywhere at the moment, but hopefully later we might get a little bit of sunshine. The other thing I'm waiting for, of course, is Mr. Steve to come into the studio. I don't know where he is. Oh, here he comes now, everyone. Mr. Steve is on his way. Tell you something. I will tell you something right now. I'm becoming so professional. Did you see that then? The way I filled in. If you have to fill in, sometimes you have to just do something until the thing you are waiting for occurs. So I was filling in there. It is a Sunday afternoon. It's Mr. Duncan. That's me on YouTube. And here he comes now. Mr. Steve bearing food, because I feel so hungry. Mr. Steve is here, everyone.
Hello, everybody. Hello. I brought you a tea cake, Mr. Duncan, because it looks like you're going to eat something during every live stream.
I'm so hungry today.
So I brought you a... What's this?
No.
I brought you a live stream.
Yes, don't do that.
I brought you a live, on-air tea cake.
You've brought me a live stream.
Yes, I have. A live tea cake. It's hot, so you better eat it.
It's very hot. Now, we got complaints last week about eating. About eating during the live stream. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm going to use my special fake smile whilst I eat, so people can't see that I'm eating. Is that a good idea?
Well, can you hold it up and eat at the same time?
Well, yes.
This is the question I want to know.
I do. Fortunately, I have two hands, you see. I'm very lucky that I have two hands. So I can use this hand to grab this, and I can use this hand to grab this. And then I will put this here, and then I will put this into my mouth.
I still think it's rude that you should be eating live on air with all your lovely viewers watching you.
But I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Well,
What?
why don't you eat before you come on air, Mr. Duncan?
Because I don't have time, because I'm busy preparing everything. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to eat a little bit of food. Mr. Steve is here. Oh, I've just remembered something. On Wednesday, Steve was complaining. You were complaining on Wednesday. What were you complaining about?
I didn't think the light was flattering enough.
So, okay, then I tell you what I've done. I've arranged some special lighting for Mr. Steve. So here is Mr. Steve's special light, because he was complaining the other night that there wasn't enough light. So wait there a second. I'm just going to get the Mr. Steve's personal light.
My beauty light. Is that what it is, Mr. Duncan?
Here we go. There we go.
Oh. Oh, that's just a little too much, Mr. Duncan.
There it is. Oh, you look great now.
Oh, I look 21. 21 today, 21 today. I feel ever so lovely.
So there we go. Is that better?
Well, I don't know. Let's let the viewers think. Do I look flattering in this light?
That's it.
Thing is, how are you going to hold that lamp and eat and hold that smile in front of you all at the same time?
I must admit, I didn't think this through.
By the way, that's going to go cold, so you better hurry up and eat. You can put that down, Mr. Duncan. I feel a little overlit.
Oh.
Overlit, Mr. Duncan. Anyway, it's nice to be here again. What have you been talking about, Mr. Duncan? Before I say hello to everybody out there in the worldwide web of English. Right. Well, that's the quietest he's been since last Wednesday. So I suppose miracles do happen. Sometimes when Mr. Duncan has food stuffed in his face, at least it means he can't talk, which sometimes is a benefit. Do you want me to put that down? Because I feel as though I can't even see the screens anymore.
I've really got my hands full.
Not for the first time today. Right. I think we ought to get rid of that, Mr. Duncan. It's a little on the bright side.
Look, you were complaining the other night. You said the light was awful. So there we go. Have you got your own personal light? By the way, this thing is called a beauty dish. This particular light, it's called a beauty dish.
All right, okay.
Do you know why?
Well, the clue is probably in the name. Does it give very flattering light onto your skin and thus iron out and just bleach out all the wrinkles? Is that what it does, Mr. Duncan?
It flattens the contours of the face, which then gives you a much more pleasing appearance.
Well, let the viewers be the judge of that.
So there we go.
I bet your arm's aching, Mr. Duncan. Can we have a look at the live chat?
We're there. I haven't got anything else that I can use to press. Wait there a second.
He's putting the flattering light down, and he's eating, and he's holding that fake smile in front of his face.
I'm sorry, we are going to just have to make do with Mr. Steve's sort of contours and wrinkles and bumps. I'm sorry about that. The live chat, by the way, is on now.
Well, I can't see it.
Here's the live chat, boys and girls.
Oh, look. Mr. Duncan is bimanual.
I'm
according to... just go up a bit.
I'm what?
According to... stop. Back. It's like the golden shot. There we go. Caradas says that you are bimanual.
No, that's just a rumour. That's just a rumour by the news. The newspapers started that rumour. I'm not by anything.
TS says I look like a lamp bulb. Well, Mr. Duncan sometimes describes my face as a moon face.
Yes, at the moment, especially when Mr. Steve has been doing exercise, he actually looks like the blood moon because he goes very red.
Nicole wants us to let Chirpy free in the garden. The only problem is that we don't want lots of crickets to be breeding outside our house, because then it'll be a nightmare with the sound. Interesting enough, we had a friend round, didn't we, yesterday?
Yeah, we don't care about that.
I know, but he was talking about if you want to annoy your neighbours, throw crickets into their garden because
Yeah.
they're so noisy that they won't be able to sleep with the windows open.
What a lovely human being.
Sergio says I look gorgeous. Oh, thank you, Sergio.
That's more important. The live chat
Exactly.
is more important. Sergio,
Hello, Kanda.
thank you very much, Sergio. Let's go back a bit. I feel hungry now. Frederica has been watching me eat my tea cake. It's delicious, by the way. And the good thing is I can show the live chat on the screen and I can still eat and no one will know that I'm eating.
Yeah, but they will, because while you're eating, you won't be talking. And you're also making lots of hideous noises. Manar says hello. Hello, Manar. Yes, TS, I am very kind because I'm looking after Mr. Duncan by giving him a tea cake so that his blood sugar levels don't drop. Bella's hungry now. Frederica's hungry. You're making everybody hungry. I'd like to make tea cakes for everybody, but unfortunately I can't. Carla says my head is hanging on the desk. Have I been beheaded? This is the... Oh, yes! This is the cutout of me that Mr. Duncan put on a football a couple of weeks ago when I wasn't here for the live chat on one particular Wednesday, and he was feeling sad, so he made a cardboard cutout of me.
Yeah.
And there it is now behind. So as we said on Wednesday, these are available for sale.
If you want to buy Mr. Steve's face, maybe you can put it near the fireplace or near a dangerous object to keep the children away.
Hello, Lemon Tree. Hello, Manar. Yes, I said that already. Oh, yes, right. Mr. Duncan keeps going the wrong way on the live chat. No, I don't feel hungry because I had a tea cake before I came on live.
I've been going the wrong way for years.
Oh, look. M. Seska Asmo is in Buckinghamshire.
Oh, very, very posh.
No, it's raining here as well. And Jeff says that I'm all set for my holiday. I am. He's got a use of the word set in again, but I think it's a repetition of the use of the word set.
So, yes, to be set for something means you are ready and prepared.
Yes, I know, but Jeff's used that example of the use of the word set before. But it doesn't matter because you've got it in and that's all that counts.
The important thing is to get it in. As long as you get it in, that's all that matters.
Hi, Martha in Poland.
Oh, hello, Martha, Poland.
Anna wants to know the recipe of the tea cake. Well, Anna, we didn't make the tea cakes. We bought them from the local bakers. But tea cakes, it's basically just ordinary bread, which is, so wheat, obviously, with some yeast in it. You can make them yourself quite easily. And you just put some sugar in it and some raisins or currants. And there you go. You've got tea cakes. Form them into a nice sort of that shape, and there you go. I think the sultana's in this one. I said I wasn't going to keep saying "there you go," didn't I?
You said it. You said "there you go" about 20 times so far.
Have I? Sergio says it's a Frankenstein light.
It is not a Frankenstein
So what have
light.
you been talking about today, Mr. Duncan?
I've been talking about feeling hungry. I've been talking about the rain, because sadly the heat wave is over. The heat wave, unfortunately. Vova Yolkin is watching it's Olga. Hello, Olga. Nice to see you again, Olga. I'm watching you on my son's tablet.
Vova. I like that name. Vova Yolkin.
Yes.
That's a nice flowing name. It flows off your tongue. Yolkin. Well,
Vova.
I thought it did.
Vova.
Vova or Vova. Vova Yolkin.
Did you see
I like that name.
Did you see the red moon? We didn't because it was cloudy. We've had so much cloud and rain. So unfortunately, on Friday, we had lots of cloud in the sky, so we couldn't see the red moon, or as some people refer to it as the blood moon.
Bella's eating sunflower seeds.
Oh, I like sunflower seeds as well.
And you've got other types of seed, haven't you, as well?
I've got lots of seed. I like to shove the seed in my mouth and let it go around for a while. I like to chew on it.
What are those other seeds that you eat? You've got sunflower seeds.
Pumpkin
seeds, that's it.
Pumpkin seeds.
Bella, that's what you want, some pumpkin seeds as well. I can't get my words out today.
Although you seem to have no problem with there you go.
Oh, Nicole, have you been talking about hobbies? It looks like you've been reading the live chat. I would deduce that you've been talking about hobbies and you've been talking about something else as well. I can't remember what it was now.
Something else. We have been talking about something else. You're right.
Poetry. Poetry and hobbies.
Yes.
But is your hobby poetry?
Something we want to talk about today is hobbies. Do you have a hobby out there? Do you have something you like to do in your spare time? There are many words that you can use to mean hobby, such as Steve. Cue Steve.
Right, I've got a piece of paper here. Lots of hobbies. Well, what are my hobbies? Everybody knows I like to sing, like Nicole does. I like to do amateur dramatics. I like to do gardening. I used to like doing electronics or chemistry experiments and all sorts of things like that. Let's look at the definition of hobby, shall we? According to the dictionary.
Okay.
It says here that it is a hobby is an activity or interest, an enthusiasm or a pastime undertaken for relaxation or pleasure done during your spare time. So it's anything outside work hours that you do for relaxation or pleasure. Some of these hobbies have lots of they're very well organised. They've got organisations, haven't they, and membership associations that go with them. Mr. Duncan used a popular pastime hobby for you was amateur radio, was it not? You used to do amateur radio, hospital radio.
Amateur radio. I love the way you say amateur. I don't think they call it amateur radio.
Well, it just means you're getting radio. You're not being paid for it.
You're getting confused with a person that listens to radio signals from around the world. Now, they are called amateur radio enthusiasts. Or, of course, ham radio. Have you ever heard of that?
I have. I've heard of chicken radio as well, and beef radio, and ham radio. Sausage radio, that's another one.
Yes, these are great jokes. I think we need the crickets to come and chirp over these terrible...
I can hear them from here. They're putting me off. So I can't get my words out today, Mr. Duncan.
Well, normally when you have a terrible joke, you see, if you ever have a terrible joke, normally you will play the sound of crickets. So this is just for Mr. Steve's terrible joke, this.
I think I'm going to take a nap. Here? Yeah, I had a giant mobile put in the sky so I can sleep wherever I want. This is nice.
Thank you for that, Mr. Duncan.
So whenever Mr. Steve tells a terrible joke, we will have Chirpy to make the sound of the emptiness in the air because no one is laughing.
Well, it's been shown that as well, hobbies are very good for your sort of mental well-being, to make you feel good about yourself. So you achieve something in your spare time, and it's good for work as well, because if you're doing your hobbies in the evening, you're taking your mind off work at the weekend, and then you go to work on Monday refreshed and giving your all to your employer, assuming you enjoy your job. There are an endless list of hobbies. But how about some, I mean, you might like doing puzzles, you might like reading, you might like soap making. That's a hobby. Gaming, drawing, dancing, sports.
Who is making their own soap?
It is a listed hobby under a list of hobbies that I read on the internet. Soap making. Well, I know somebody that did used to make soap. They used to get all the little bits of soap that, you know, when you've got a bar of soap. Although these days, of course, people don't tend to buy bars of soap because it all tends to be liquid soap, doesn't it now? But when bars of soap were very popular, and maybe they are still in some of the countries where people are watching, when you've been using the soap for a while, you end up with this little piece of soap left, which you can't get much lather out of. Well, some people collect all those little bits, and then they squash them and make them into a new big bar of soap.
That sounds disgusting.
So you've got to be. I did have a go at making soap once.
That's like saying when I use toilet paper to wipe my bum, there's a little bit left on the end where there isn't any poo on it, and I always tear that off, and I save it, and then I use it for the next time I need it. So yeah, putting all of the old soap together to make a new piece of soap, that's disgusting.
I can't remember how I used to do it now. I did make soap.
Yeah.
It's caustic soda.
Oh, for goodness sake. You used to do it.
Yes, but not from those little slivers of soap.
Oh, okay.
A sliver, which is a small little piece left over.
You didn't use the old soap.
I used it from... now, you mix caustic soda with something else, and I can't remember what it is. Is it glycerin? Something like that.
I don't know. I've
and
never...
boil it. Oh, no. Caustic soda and fat.
I've never made my own
That's
soap.
what you do. Caustic soda...
Yeah?
And fat or oil, mix them together, heat it up, and a reaction takes place, and you get left with soap.
Okay.
That's how they make it.
This is fascinating. I bet you're glad now that you cancelled all of your activities and engagements.
All your
today.
hobbies.
All of your hobbies. So I'm glad you put everything on hold. I bet you feel really pleased now, so you could hear Mr. Steve talking about how to make your own soap.
Well, you might want to do that. Caustic soda is a bit, as the word suggests, caustic. It can sort of corrode your skin. It's very nasty, so I wouldn't recommend it. Here are some very British hobbies. Because no wonder Mr. Duncan is putting on weight when he's eating. Have you noticed all the unhealthy foods Mr. Duncan eats?
You are very easily distracted.
High calorific foods, carbohydrates, fats, sugars. Mr. Duncan lives on that. Is it any wonder he looks 20 years older than me?
I think
and he's actually younger.
I think that might be the other way around. Yes, it's my birthday next month.
One of your hobbies, of course, is to eat chocolate. I would actually describe that as a hobby of yours.
This is the
it's
last
a pastime activity.
This is the last one. This is the last show that we're doing in July. So the next time we appear on Wednesday, it will be the 1st of August. And we all know what happens when August appears.
Do we?
Yes.
I don't.
Yes.
We have to start celebrating your birthday.
It's my birthday in August.
We'll have a look in a minute to see if people are telling us what their hobbies are. But here are some very British hobbies. Hobbies that you would associate strongly with British people.
Is it saving your old toilet paper?
Possibly. Bird watching. Bird watching is, I mean, lots of people will probably do these around the world, but these are sort of associated with British people, what they like to do in their spare time, because hobbies and developing yourself and making the most of your abilities is what a hobby is all about. Because quite often, where have I gone, Mr. Duncan? Oh, you're looking at the birds.
There we go. Well, you're talking about bird watching.
That's it. If you've got plenty of spare time, then you can take up a hobby. And quite often people, you see, have to work, don't they, to earn a living.
Mm-hmm.
They might not necessarily want to spend 8 hours of their day in their job, but they have to do it because they have to earn a living to pay the mortgage, pay for the food, bring up the children, pay for holidays, savings, pensions, all that sort of thing.
Work always comes first.
And few people, I would say, I think the majority of people work because they have to work. They don't necessarily really enjoy it, but you have to do it to earn a living. And then in your spare time, you do the things you really want to do.
Unless you're me.
Which are the hobbies, but they don't necessarily make any money for you. Although people can turn hobbies into businesses.
Yes.
Like you have, really.
Well, I did. I used to. But now being on YouTube, it has become sort of a voluntary thing. So in the past, you used to earn not a lot of money. I wasn't a millionaire, but I used to earn something that would allow me to live and continue with my
Would you
work.
have a thousandaire?
Yes, okay. I'm just trying to talk now. So that's it. Keep that on there.
I'm keeping that. I'm making faces behind here.
That's good.
Uh,
So yes, nowadays making a living on YouTube, earning something that is like a salary, is very difficult to do. So now I say that this is the most difficult and complex way to make no money whatsoever. And that's what it is, doing this. So I don't really get paid anymore by YouTube. I get little bits and pieces now and again. So that's
Mr. Duncan's on his soapbox.
what the situation is at the moment.
On his soapbox.
So I really feel sorry for people who are just creating their YouTube account and they think they're going to be the next PewDiePie. They think they're going to be the next big thing on YouTube. And the chances are you're not. I wouldn't bother. I would just go and do something else. Take up another hobby. Like,
No, Mr. Duncan,
like-
that's been very negative.
like bird watching.
That's very negative. Because if you are an attractive woman with certain assets,
Okay.
then I think you'll probably do very well on
That's
YouTube.
a bit sexist.
Well, it's true though, isn't it?
You're sexist.
Right, here we go.
Misogynist.
Very British hobbies. We've had... No, I don't hate women. I'm
Misogynist.
making an observational comment.
I'm going to complain now.
I mean, you keep telling me. This is what you keep telling me, Mr.
that-
Duncan. The
look-
only people that are successful on YouTube now are women with big breasts.
I'm putting
That's what you keep telling me.
I'm now going to put a complaint into YouTube about the live stream that I'm actually in. I don't think anyone's ever done that before, where they've actually complained about their own live stream. Dear YouTube, I just heard someone called Mr. Steve make a sexist comment. He said, "Big breasts. Please, can you come round and take Mr. Steve away?
Please do, and then I won't have to do these every week.
Take him to the Google Funny Farm."
I've already been there. It's not much fun.
Oh.
You keep interrupting me. I'm talking about very British hobbies. British hobbies. Bird watching we've had. Knitting. Knitting is a common pastime. It used to be. I don't think it is anymore. Rambling.
That's something you do a lot.
Rambling. I don't mean talking on and on about nothing. That's rambling when you keep talking about something boringly and it's not very interesting. I'm talking about rambling, which is a pastime where people walk in sort of outdoor places, don't they? Sort of in woods.
Yes, they have
on heathland.
people who go walking casually. They ramble.
They ramble. They've probably got a rucksack, and they're probably going from one picturesque town to the other, and they're going through countryside. They're not sticking to the easy walking paths.
They walk.
They're going through woods, and maybe it's a little bit more challenging. And they're probably using a compass and a map. And you know, it's not just leisurely walking with a pram.
I think nowadays they just use a sat nav.
Yes, but
You could go for a walk and you just say, "Okay, I'm going on this walk now. Hello, phone. Tell me where to go. I want to go somewhere. Please give me directions," and then the phone can tell you.
But a rambler would never use a phone. They would use a compass and a map, and there are still people that do that.
That's a bit old-fashioned.
It is, but that's what rambling is. Train spotting.
Do they still have gas lamps in their house?
Train spotting
Train spotting. Oh yes.
used to be a very British pastime.
So you
hobby.
will look out. So it's a little bit like bird watching, but with trains.
Trains, and people have a book and they write down the number of the train, and then that train is going all over the country. Then they see where it is next, and they write it all down in a book.
Would it be fair to
I
say?
do a bit of that.
Would it be fair to say that these people are not married?
I don't know. Do people still do train spotting?
I think they do.
Right, okay.
Not many.
Stamp collecting.
Dear.
Stamp collecting, a very British hobby, where people who don't go out much sit at home and collect stamps.
These sound like real 21st century hobbies
But
to
they're
me.
really, well, they're just very British hobbies. Bell ringing. Bell ringing. People actually do. They go to churches. Campanology. Campanology
Look,
is
if you're
the
going to
phrase for
start,
bell ringing.
if you're going to start insulting me again, look, I know I'm a bit campanology. I can't help it.
Campanology is the name given to people who like bell ringing. But yes, they go to churches and they pull on the bells and they make the bells ring.
They pull.
Or it might be the handheld ones, and they do this in a sequence with a row of people, and they form tunes.
Are you sure that's what it
and
is?
melodies.
It looks like you're milking a cow.
I'm not,
I don't think
Mr.
that's-
Duncan.
that's
But
not-
bell
that's-
ringing is
not bell ringing.
still a relatively popular hobby.
Yeah.
For people that live in villages. I would imagine in Much Wenlock there is probably a bell ringing society.
There was a friend of mine that had no arms, but he wanted to be a bell ringer. And one day he went for an interview with the local church, and they said, "Look, we'll let you do the job for a week, but we're not sure whether you're suitable." Anyway, the first day that he tries to do the job, he goes up where the bell is and he runs at it and he smashes into it. Smashes right into it.
He's using his head as a clapper.
Yes, if you could just wait a moment. Just wait. There's something
I should
happening.
get that cricket ready.
This is a happening, you see. This is something
Is
happening.
it a joke? Get the cricket ready.
And he steps back and falls out of the bell tower. He falls all the way and he's dead. And all the people gather round and they're not sure what is going on. And then one person goes to the local vicar who had interviewed this guy, and the stranger says, "Do you know who this person is?" And the vicar says, "I don't know his name, but his face rings a bell."
Can I bring up that cricket, because I think that deserves the cricket. That was a long rambling joke, Mr. Duncan. I think you could have said it in half the time.
Don't you dare touch my equipment.
I haven't touched your equipment for years, Mr. Duncan.
Mr. Steve is not allowed to touch my equipment anymore because the last time he touched something, it broke off.
That's because it had a horrible disease. Anyway, that's another story. Pigeon fancying.
Hilarious.
Pigeon fancying.
Okay, my joke was funny. That was a funny joke.
It
that
was, Mr. Duncan.
That was a funny joke. Everyone's look.
Are you a pigeon fancier,
There they
Mr.
go.
Duncan?
People like that. People like that joke. They said, "Yeah, funny. You are funny. Thank you very much." Look, the live chat.
I'm rolling up.
They all appreciate my humour.
They're all just humouring you. They're not really laughing at all.
Well, that is the point of humour, to make people feel happy, whether they are really feeling happy.
Oh, look. Inigo Gallo says, "Funny guys you are." That sounds like Yoda would speak that way.
That sounds like, I don't know, that sounds like...
You are funny guys, but Yoda on Star Wars would say, "Funny guys
Funny
you
guys
are."
you are. Rrr.
There we go.
Funny guys you are.
That's probably because Inigo, whatever his language is, actually the words are in a different order in the sentence. They are in English.
Whatever,
I would imagine.
Whatever your language is. That's great.
There we go. Well,
God.
I don't know. I heard... Yeah.
Steve, I am so interested in these hobbies. Please continue with your list.
I was trying to, Mr. Another sort of very English hobby is pigeon fancying.
Ooh, hey, hi there. Hi, you're very sexy. You're a very sexy pigeon.
It's not that kind of fancying.
Come on,
Mr.
let's go back to...
It's not a sort of a sexual attraction to...
Let's-
It's not someone that's sexually attracted to pigeons.
Come on, pigeon. Brr, 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 brr. Come on, give me a kiss.
It just means people who like pigeons and they breed them in sheds in their garden, and then they take them all out and they let them fly, and then they come back after a few hours, and they call them pigeon fanciers, don't they?
They fancy pigeons.
They just like pigeons.
I used to know a sheep fancier. He fancied sheep.
I think before we used to use the word fancy to mean to be sexually attracted towards something.
Yes, it means you find something attractive, you fancy it, or something that you actually want to have for your...
fancy. I am trying to explain it, but you keep butting in.
That's all right.
Never mind. Flower arranging. That's another very British hobby. I'm sure people do it all around the world, but flower arranging.
Flower arranging. Or in your case, you're very good at flower killing.
No, I'm very good at flower growing.
Mr. Steve has just killed his dahlia. It's
There's
dead.
nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with my dahlia, Mr.
It's
Duncan.
dead. It's an ex-dahlia.
What about hobbies? Now, this is an interesting point. If you are applying for a job, and normally on the bottom of the CV somewhere, you will list your hobbies or your interests.
Okay.
Which is something that people commonly do on their CV when they're applying for a job.
Okay.
But there are certain hobbies or pastimes that look good on a CV and others that don't look good on a CV. And you should probably not put on a CV, even if you're doing them,
Yes.
because of the impression it will make towards your employer.
So there are certain
Potential employer.
There are certain hobbies then you probably shouldn't do, or you shouldn't tell people
Yes.
about. So maybe you like to hide in the bush in the local town park and take photographs of the lovely ladies. So
That's not a hobby.
That's a hobby that you probably shouldn't tell people about.
Well, shall we talk about the ones that do look good on your CV first?
Okay, the ones that do look good.
The ones that look good on your CV is anything to do with sports.
Okay.
Really, if you put down that you play football, any sort of competitive sport, or you're the local team captain for the rugby or hockey, or you do skydiving or competitive cycling, anything like that, tells an employer, a potential employer, that, here's somebody who's driven, who wants to be successful, is driven by success. He's a leader, somebody we can have in our organisation, they'll move forward. So things like that, extreme sports, it says that you're willing to take a risk. So if you like paragliding or parachuting, then that was saying to her. So if you're applying for a job involved in sort of sales or something where it requires you to sort of push the limits or the boundaries, any sort of hobby that shows that you do that in your spare time will indicate to your employer that you might be very good at the job.
I can sum this up in one word. Endurance. Endurance.
Wasn't the word I thought you were going to use?
So that you can say that you are a person who enjoys endurance. You can do something that requires a lot of physical activity or energy. It also says that you are quite a fit, strong person.
Well, it's more saying that you're the sort of person that is willing to push themselves. So if you, for example, go mountain biking or you do 100-mile bike rides,
Yes.
potentially that's saying to an employer, well, that person might be quite a good person to have here because, you know, he sort of pushes the limits. He's not afraid to do sort of dangerous activities.
That's it.
He's a bit of a leader, somebody that we want in our organisation.
We might need someone one day to climb a mountain for us.
It's just what it's saying about you. Something that doesn't look good on a CV, which you actually often do see, and I've seen this because I have interviewed people in a past life and another job I was doing, and people put on one of their hobbies as reading.
Yes.
People often put reading down on a CV.
Well, that's all right.
It's not.
What, reading is not a good idea to tell
No.
people. So if you say, I enjoy reading.
Not on a CV.
Oh, okay.
But I suppose it depends. I mean, if you're applying to be to work in a library, it might look quite good that you actually enjoy reading as a hobby.
Okay. So if it's relevant,
But,
if it's relevant to the job,
If it's relevant to the job, so if you're doing it, writing a CV, think of the things, the hobbies that you like doing, and make it relevant to the job that you're doing. So if you're employed to be a public speaker, or a conference organizer, something that involved having to have lots of people and being involved with people and organising things, you wouldn't put down that you liked reading as a hobby, because that would immediately say, well, reading is a very solitary activity. You're sort of on your own. It's not really giving the impression to your employer that you're you're a team person. And anyway, everyone can read practically, so it's not really showing.
I think that's open for debate.
Well, if you're applying for a job, I'm talking about, you wouldn't apply for a job if you couldn't read. How
would you write your CV if you couldn't read?
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if you put reading down, everyone can read. So it's not really saying that you can do anything special or anything different. And yes, it may say that you're well read, which means that you have a knowledge of a wide base of subjects.
Of course, you could lie. You could lie. You could say, I enjoy, my hobby is being an astronaut. Now and again, I like to go to the moon and have a little walk around.
No, but you're just being silly now, Mr.
I like to walk around the craters, and it's very good exercise because on the moon is zero gravity, so it doesn't matter how fat you are on the moon, you still float around.
Fascinating, Mr. Duncan. Fascinating. But anyway, I've looked it up and it says don't put reading. Everywhere you look about CVs, it says don't put reading down. It never looks good unless you want to work in a library. So there you go. So what hobbies are people doing? I want to see some examples of hobbies that people are doing.
Today's issue isn't particular, says Pashtana.
We're wasting Pashtana's time.
Are we wasting your time?
Maybe you ought to get back to your hobbies.
Yes. Bye, Pashtana.
Tell us what your hobbies are.
Bye. Bye. If it's boring, you can go away. Bye. See you.
Well, what hobbies? Have we got anybody talking about their hobbies today?
No. Well, because you've been talking for most of the time.
Well, you're supposed to be keeping an eye on the live chat.
Okay, here we go. The live chat is now on the screen.
We've got somebody new. We've got Imen Fatin.
Hello, Imen.
First time that I follow this channel, so welcome.
Hello, Imen. Welcome to my live English. This is live, and it is nothing like anything else that you have ever seen on the internet. Certainly, as far as learning English is concerned. So there are no whiteboards. There's no one pointing to the sky and showing you words. It's Mr. Steve. He is my loyal assistant, and I am the mad professor, Mr. Duncan.
Right, so what do you want to talk about next, Mr. Duncan?
Well, we're talking about hobbies. So do you have a hobby? Is there something that you enjoy doing? There was a very good message I saw just now. Wait there a second. Let me just go back in time.
Drawing and crochet, says Shirin. Yes, that's a good hobby.
Wow. There are a lot of people on the live chat, I've just noticed. Oh, this thing's going wrong again. Can you see? Can you see it's going wrong again?
I don't know what you're doing, Mr. Duncan.
You don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Come on, stop doing this. Okay, let's get rid of that for a second. It's being a real pain today. I blame Mr. Steve. That's what I blame Mr. Steve. Yes, definitely.
Well, if I'm anywhere near technology, it normally goes wrong. I could safely say that... for example, if you want to apply for a job in the media,
okay,
then it would be very good to put down if your pastime was doing blogging or doing YouTube videos. That would be a good thing to put down.
Yes.
So yes, that's what I've got from just a little bit of sort of hints about what looks good on your CV. Employers don't really look at the pastime side. They might give it a little glance. It's more important to have all your career. But if you need to put hobbies down, make them relevant.
Yes.
to the job that you're applying for. Don't put everything down.
Sukat says, when I was a child, my father used to be a pigeon fancier.
Ah,
Is that word well written? Yes, you are correct. There were 250 pigeons in our garden.
wow.
I bet the neighbours loved you.
In a shed.
I bet they loved you.
Is that how you spell fancier then?
So if you are a fancier, and it's actually I-E-R, but I didn't want to be too pedantic. I don't want to be pedantic, you see.
Is that word well written that Sukat was asking?
Pigeon is spelt right, but a fancier is actually spelt differently. It is, definitely. So there. Do you have any hobbies, though? That's the question. Do you have a hobby? If you have a hobby, please let me know.
Bug watching can be a hobby.
Watching bugs.
Says Hashino. Yes, like watching birds. And we've got a friend, of course, that keeps spiders.
Oh, God. Yes,
So
we do.
exotic animals, that's a hobby.
Do you have any other friends, by the way?
Being involved in keeping or being interested in exotic animals is a hobby.
There's Chirpy.
He's got very big eyes.
Chirpy is saying hello.
Exercise. Some people like bodybuilding, don't they? That's another hobby.
Yeah.
So lots of people go to the gym. You could describe it as a hobby, I suppose. Keep fit is a hobby.
I suppose so, yes. I think so.
Not that you would ever do that, Mr. Duncan.
What are you talking about?
You used to go to a gym.
I did.
You went for a short period of time, maybe 3 or 4 months, and then you got very bored with it.
I will tell you why I stopped going to the gym, and it's something that's very unpleasant. So if you are easily offended now, please put your fingers in your ears now.
Careful what you're saying, Mr.
Wait
Duncan.
there. I'm just waiting for everyone to put their fingers in their ears. So if you don't want to hear what I'm about to say, put your fingers in your ears now. And there you go.
I think what Mr. Duncan is saying is
Oh, that was a...
he doesn't like to go on equipment.
That was a joke. No, that was a joke. Oh, what?
Well, I can't really see.
Did you
from
understand
my
I was
angle.
making a joke there? I was just pretending to be saying something. So everyone's got their fingers in their ears, so they think I'm talking about something, but I wasn't.
I just got a bit bored. Mr. Duncan didn't like going to the gym.
I didn't
And
like
seeing people.
Look, I didn't like all the smells.
He didn't like seeing sweaty people
No,
on
it wasn't.
equipment.
It wasn't just seeing them; it was smelling them. Sometimes you could smell. You could
Yes.
smell their bodies, and they would sit down on the equipment.
That's what I'm saying.
And they would put their legs in the air, and everything is going up and down. And it's and you think, oh dear.
And then you've got to sit on that equipment afterwards.
Yes, and it's all sweaty
Yes.
and
don't
sticky.
like that at all.
It's all sticky and sweaty.
Yeah, I went to a gym. You're supposed to wipe the equipment down afterwards, aren't
Ugh.
you? They give you these wipes.
Look, I think you should take it into the car park and spray it with water.
But people don't. And you can. I picked up more bugs, colds and flu bugs when I used to go to the gym than I ever did but by not going, because of course you're going into a place where everyone's hot, sweaty. There's bugs everywhere.
And that wasn't even from the equipment.
What wasn't?
So I stopped going to the gym because I couldn't stand the smell. And they always had these big balls, these big bouncy balls. And the women would climb on them with their legs open. And they would bounce up and down like this. And you just thought, why is this going on around me?
A lot of men go to gyms, I'll tell you now. A lot of men go to the gym so that they can just basically look at women.
Is that a hobby?
It probably is.
It might be a hobby. Well, my hobby is going to the gym, and I like to look at the women on the exercise
They won't admit that.
Yes. Well,
That's why they're going.
okay then. So how do you know then if they never admit it?
Well, because one has admitted it to me.
So what?
A friend of mine said he goes to the
but
gym.
You just said you didn't know because.
Well, a friend of mine said
you
he
do
goes.
know.
Are you just being deliberately awkward today?
Yes.
It's very annoying.
It's raining, you see. It's raining in my heart.
Is that supposed to be a poem? So a friend of mine goes to the gym and he says, oh, well, I like to go to the gym because I can look at all the scantily clad women. So women are going there to keep fit and he's just sort of ogling at them.
Ogling.
Yes, his eyes are open and he's getting
then.
excited looking at women on all this equipment.
So if you ogle, it means you look quite often in a sort of lustful way. Like that.
Not sure what that was, Mr. Duncan.
So yes, I suppose going to the gym to look at the eye candy.
Maybe women go to look at the men. I don't know.
Well, I think it's true. It's equality now. Everything is now equal.
Your arms just keep coming in across to me all the time. It's very annoying, Mr. Duncan. Could you keep within your own space?
I can't help.
I want a barrier here.
I have very long arms.
And I wish you to keep them in your own space and not intrude into my own space.
I will stand like this. Is this better?
Will you put your arms down?
Is this better?
Thank you, Mr. Duncan.
So we have equality now. So the women can look at the men and go, ooh, what a hunk. And the men can look at the women and go, whoa.
No, the men can't say anything.
The
women can say things to the men.
Yes.
Oh, he's a hunk. But if the man says it to the woman, he's accused of being sexist.
Well, that doesn't sound very fair.
Well, that's the way it is now.
Oh.
You can't look at a woman and make comments now because she can accuse you of being inappropriate. But the other way round, it doesn't work. Because if a woman says something inappropriate to a man and you complain, the man would be described as being a wimp.
So if I'm walking down the road in my sexy shorts, revealing my big, strong body...
Overweight.
My big, strong body, and the woman goes, whoa, Mr. Duncan, you look sexy today. I have to just accept it.
Yes, because if you complained, you'd be laughed at.
That's harassment.
And I'm sure sexual harassment does go, but men do get sexually harassed.
Look, I know
by women.
I know I have this power over people, but look, I don't want to be a sex object. I don't want to be a person's fantasy. I really don't. I feel
very annoying today, Mr. Every time I start a sentence, you interrupt.
Okay, you can have 3 minutes.
I said sometimes men are sexually harassed by women, but if they try to complain, they're laughed at by their bosses at work. It's not treated seriously. I don't know if it happens very often, but if a man sexually harasses a woman, then, all hell breaks loose and he could lose his job. But it doesn't seem to work the other way round. Right, Mr. Duncan's gone off, so I'm now in charge. I'm going to get rid of that Kit Kat for a start. That is not going to appear on the screen. Mr. Duncan, I'm conscious that we're not really teaching much English today. We seem to be sort of messing around a lot.
It's part of what I do, you see.
Yes, but you keep doing it all the time.
Okay, I'll stop now.
Okay. Let's have a look at the live chat, Mr. Duncan.
Oh, okay. That's not really... Oh, I thought you had something else for us.
No, that's
I thought you had some poetry.
I have got some poetry.
Do you want to see the poem that I wrote on Friday night being read out on television? Do you want to see that? We'll have a look at that in a moment.
Have you shown it yet?
Well, no. Well, I would have thought the fact that I've just said that would have been...
Yes, but you could have shown it before I came on, and you could be showing it saying that to new people who just joined.
I would have said again.
Me Too movement. Yes, are you in the Me Too movement? Well, I don't approve of sexual harassment, but if it's the other way, then the men can't complain because they're accused of being wimps.
Yes.
I mean, it's wrong to obviously do what some of these Hollywood producers have done. That's very wrong.
It's broke again.
But sexual harassment does go both ways. Not that I've ever been sexually harassed. I don't think I ever have been, actually.
I thought you had.
No? Oh, yes, I was. No, you are, yes.
Didn't a 75-year-old man make a pass at you?
Yes, he got a little amorous.
Yes, this old. I don't know what it is about Steve. He seems to attract sort of 70-year-old men. I don't know why. Didn't he try and kiss you on the?
Oh, don't remind me of that horror, Mr. Duncan.
It's quite disgusting.
I don't think we should. No, let's not talk about that.
Dude,
let's just say I ran and I ran and I ran.
Ugh. I ran.
Mr. Steve, what was your first car? Says Dean. Interesting change of subject.
You talked about this already.
My first car was a Hillman Avenger.
Didn't we talk about this?
Hillman Avenger.
I feel like I'm having deja vu.
So if someone would like to look up Hillman Avenger,
yeah,
which would have been around 19. When did I have my first car? Probably around 1983 or 4. Hillman, Hilman, and Avenger, Avenger.
Wow.
Hillman Avenger.
And car, CAR.
Well, in case somebody wants to look it up.
Up, UP. Come on. Oh, Nicole is giving you some very useful advice about your dahlia. Mr. Steve, you should move your dahlia in your garden because it needs a lot of space for its roots. Yes, I told him that a few weeks ago, and he didn't. You know, he just said, "I'll keep it in the pot."
Yes, but the reason, Nicole is, and Mr. Duncan, is the reason that we keep dahlias in pots in the UK is because they cannot survive the cold winter.
Okay.
So if you keep them in the ground, they will die because we have frosts here. So you can't keep dahlias in the ground. Well, you could put them in the ground, but you'd have to take them up.
That's it.
In the autumn before the first frosts come.
Yes.
Otherwise, they die.
So you could plant them. You could plant them, and then when the winter comes, you just dig the.
Some people do that.
Dig it up and hang it up somewhere nice and dry, and then in the summer or in the spring, you can plant it in the ground again.
And they don't like to be kept too wet either, or the they're not bulbs. I think rhizomes. I think they are. I can't remember what we called it now. Rot. So that's why you mustn't overwater them, Mr. Duncan. You're looking at me in a very strange way.
I'm listening to you. I'm intently listening to Mr. Steve's talk.
Have you talked about drones yet?
We haven't talked about drones.
Have you shown the mystery object?
The mystery object? No, we haven't. There's just so much. I did say
only
this.
Half an hour to go.
Do you remember at the start of today's live stream, I said there wouldn't be enough time to do everything today, and I'm right. Well, we're back on Wednesday.
Right.
So if we don't do it today, we will do it on Wednesday. But
in fact, it's nearly time to go.
Wait there, Steve. There's a drone coming now. So you better get down, Steve. There's a drone. Wait, look.
Right. Oh! Quick, duck! It's spying on us.
That's it. It's looking. It might come back in a moment. Oh, it's coming back.
Oh, duck!
Oh, yeah, no pictures. No pictures. Oh dear. Did you see that? We're being spied on.
We are being spied on. One of the neighbours.
No.
Well, we're not going to name them. Although everybody knows who it is. We had a drone flying over our house. We're not joking.
Well, not over our house, but over everyone's house.
Well, our house as well.
Yes, our house was on the list, but it was everyone's. But we were trying to work out who it was. So there it was. Did you see the drone?
We know who it is. I saw exactly where it went.
Did you see the drone there? And it's Steve,
yes.
it's coming back. It's coming back.
Quick,
get down. No. Hide. Oh, there it goes. Oh.
I'm putting my sunglasses on. I don't want to recognise.
Recognise me, please. Oh dear. My goodness.
There you go.
Did you see that drone?
An unmanned aerial vehicle.
Yes. What?
That's a drone.
Wait, just stand back a bit.
I don't know.
You get so excited.
A drone is an unmanned aerial vehicle.
Yes. Drone can also mean a very boring sound.
Yes, I've got that here. I prepared this, and Mr. Duncan is interrupting.
I need a drink.
If I was to talk like this for a long period of time, Mr. Duncan, your English lessons are very valuable. Can I tune in next week? When is your next one, Mr. Duncan?
That just sounds normal to me.
You would say that I was droning.
That's how you sound normally.
Talking in a monotone, droning on. If somebody talks about a subject in a very in a very sort of low, monotone voice all the time, and they talk like that, and they just sound a little boring, you can say that they're talking in a monotone, in a drone. Oh, stop droning on about that.
Droning on.
Droning on. If somebody, if for example, you talk about the same subject to somebody all the time and you're boring them, somebody will say, stop droning on about that boring subject.
Boring.
Drone strikes.
Okay.
A drone strike.
Is that when the drones refuse to work? We are going on strike. Drones.
That's funny. That's the first funny joke I've heard from you all afternoon, Mr. Duncan.
Let's get the crickets.
A drone strike. So obviously there are military drones, and they have bombs on board, and they sort of home in, and then people in control centres, hundreds of miles away, are directing these basically aerial bombs to their targets, and that's what they call a drone strike.
You sound so excited by this.
Well, I'm not, but I would imagine the people controlling them actually quite enjoy doing it. What about a drone bee?
Okay.
A drone bee or a drone ant?
Is that a boring drone? Is that a boring bee?
No.
A bee.
A drone bee is a male bee that is just bred basically to mate with the female queen.
Ooh, lucky queen.
So they're not worker bees, which apparently are all female.
Mm-hmm.
All the worker bees, the ones that go out and collect all the honey and the pollen,
nectar,
are female, and they can sting you. And the male bee is called a drone, and there are fewer of them, and they just mate with the queens from other colonies.
That's a good job.
It must be a lovely job. You'd think that, wouldn't you, Mr. Duncan?
Yes, I know what you're going to say.
But they can only mate once, and then they die.
Oh dear.
Because apparently after they've mated with the queen bee in the air at certain sites, apparently they've got these drone areas where all these drones, these male bees all congregate, and the females fly in, and it's like a big orgy for bees, I think.
Wow,
like a bee orgy.
So, so you get to mate once.
You get to mate once with the female bee,
and then you die.
Your penis gets ripped off, along with parts of your abdomen, and then you die. That's what happens to the poor male bee, apparently. I was reading about it this morning. Yes. He's got quite a large penis, apparently, the bee. And he's when he mated with the female, it's quite a vigorous activity. He's only got one shot at it, one chance. And if he's successful, it destroys his lower part of his body. It's all... And he dies. So that's it. So, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. It's sort of wham, bam, goodbye. How about that, Mr. Duncan?
Some very interesting word usage
well,
there.
I read it. I read up about the drone bee, you see.
We've got it. We understand his doody gets
ripped off the mating process.
That's not very nice, is it?
Exactly.
That's a real bad one-night stand.
You can get drone ants, but I didn't read up about them, but I presume it's similar fate for them as well.
It's very similar. Drone ants.
In music.
Oh, okay.
Music. Sue Cat's husband might know about this.
Yeah.
Or even Sue Cat herself. A drone in music is a chord or a note played in harmony continuously throughout the piece of music. So you'll have one note playing all the time, the same note playing throughout the music, and that's called the drone note or the drone chord. Bagpipes. Think of a bagpipe.
Oh, I'm thinking.
Think of bagpipes. They have one sound, one pipe that just puts out the same note all the time. That plays throughout the whole music, and then they play the other tunes around that.
Can I just confess?
Around that one note.
Can I confess to something? I hate the sound of bagpipes.
Fine, we don't care.
And steel drums.
Steel drums? No, you've never liked steel drums, have you?
I don't like the sound of
No.
steel drums. I don't know why. So the bagpipes and steel drums. So
I think it's that droning noise in the back. That is that droning noise.
if I ever go to Scotland and there are some people from the Caribbean also nearby performing, and they're very close to each other, so there'll be a bagpipe and a steel drum playing at the same time, I will probably have my fingers in my ears, and I might even cut my ears off, like Van Gogh.
You've heard of fusion music. So a fusion between Caribbean and Scottish music would be your worst nightmare.
Yes. I've never heard bagpipes and steel drums at the same time, and I don't want to.
I don't think you ever will.
No.
Apparently a sitar has a drone note, and so does a banjo, apparently. One of the strings on a banjo just plays the same note all the time.
Who wants to hear Mr. Duncan's poem?
Well, I've got one more use of the word drone first. You're so rude. Mr. Duncan is so rude. So a drone is a deep humming sound. A deep humming sound. So a wasp makes a droning noise. A deep humming sound. A drone. So that's why you say if somebody drones, it's sort of just a boring sort of sound all the time.
Did we say this already?
Exactly. That's why it's called droning.
Okay.
So yes, a drone isn't just about lots of. I'm actually trying to teach them English here, Mr. Duncan.
That's good.
Instead of just being frivolous and silly all the time. I am taking over the baton of English
You're
teaching.
taking over the baton.
Yes.
So you're not taking the baton.
And I'm taking it over.
How can you take over a baton?
I've got all this stuff prepared and we're running out of time.
We're here on Wednesday. Don't worry about it. If we don't get through it today, we can do it on
Imen says,
Wednesday.
what is a drone? I don't understand the word, but I've just explained it. So hopefully a drone is either an unmanned aerial vehicle, it's a male bee, it's a monotone sound, that's it.
Steve.
There was a band called the Drones.
Steve, look, that drone's it's coming back. It's coming back.
Not again.
Hide. No. Did they get us?
It's spying us,
It's
teaching
coming back.
English.
It's coming back.
It's hit me on the head. I've got an injury, Mr. Duncan.
Yeah. See, we're having trouble here with drones. So that is a drone. So drone can be a verb to do something in a boring and monotonous way, or a drone can be an unmanned aircraft.
Mr. Duncan, Sukat says never go to Scotland and Jamaica.
Yes. Definitely not.
I don't think you've ever been to either, have you? Have you ever been to Scotland?
I have been to Scotland. I've been to Edinburgh, and it rained all day.
Oh, yes. I remember your trip to Edinburgh.
Edinburgh.
Which ear did Van Gogh cut off? I don't know. Van Gogh.
Which ear?
Van Gogh. I don't know which one it was.
I want to say his left ear. I don't know why. But then I have a feeling that it might have been his right ear.
You don't know, do you, Mr. Duncan?
Because, well, who knows? It may have been one or the other. It might have been both. Or he might have cut them both off and then swapped them round. Just for a joke. He might have put them on back to front, and then he could hear what was coming behind him. So who knows? You see? He is a creative type. He is a creative person, or he was.
Blue Thunder says headshot for Mr. Steve. Headshot? You mean you want to fire a gun into my head?
I think they mean a picture.
Well, headshot can mean someone taking a shot with a bullet in your head.
Lovely.
That's what President what's-his-name had a headshot, didn't he?
President what's-his-name?
Yes, the one that died in America, in Dallas.
That well-known American president, President what's-his-name?
Can't remember his name.
And before that, it was President Thingy.
What was his name?
There was President Thingy, and there was President what's-his-name?
Everybody remembers
Kennedy.
where they were.
Kennedy.
I see. I was just testing you.
No, you weren't. You had no idea.
He had a headshot.
Yes,
He
okay.
didn't like it either.
No, no. He's not going to like
Mr.
it.
Duncan, we are intrigued with the blue thing you showed us. You told me you hadn't shown anybody, and you have.
I was waving it around just. Didn't you see me waving it around?
No.
I did it right in front of you here.
Well, that was the mystery object.
Yes, it is, but it's still a mystery object. It hasn't become less
But
mysterious.
we're going in a minute. There's no time for people to guess.
We'll stay for another 10 minutes.
Well, you might. Well, there's two parts to this mystery object, isn't there?
So if you want to know what this is, tune in on Wednesday. Tune in. What? Steve, don't show that. That's for Wednesday.
No, people have got to try and guess.
No, it's okay. There you go. So there is part of the mystery object. Just disgusting. What on earth is that?
It's not a blue banana, if you're wondering.
No, that's it. So that's for Wednesday. So if you want to find out what that is and other interesting things, please tune in on Wednesday.
David says hello from Tenerife. I've been to Tenerife.
Okay.
Tenerife. Yes, yes, Tenerife.
Yes.
There's a big volcano on the island. I think that's Tenerife. It is. It's very high up, and we went up to this volcano, and you could look down, and you were below the clouds. That's how high it was. It was fascinating. A friend of mine, has just come back from Tenerife, and she said that outside the hotel where they were, there was a big camp of immigrants, and they hadn't got any toilets, and there was an awful smell. So I don't know whether you've got that, David, in Tenerife. David Calero. Another lovely name.
I wrote a poem on Friday night, and it was read out on television.
Jeff's being disgusting.
Good.
No.
That's what I say.
It could be. All will be revealed on Wednesday. Well.
So what is this? What is it? that just look. If this might be our last ever live stream. Look, what is this? So find. That is just.
You're not holding it right, Mr. Duncan.
That's the story of my life. The story of my life.
It's not what you think it is.
No.
It's not what you think it is.
Even though that's what everyone thinks it is.
But it isn't.
It isn't.
It's something else.
So we'll talk about that on Wednesday. Let's hear my poem, because on Friday night we were watching.
Everyone thinks it's either a sex toy or something for erectile dysfunction.
Yes, okay, Steve.
It isn't.
Okay, Steve.
Or is it?
Look. Do you want to do Wednesday's show now? We'll do that. We'll do that on.
Somebody said they want me to read the poem out.
Well, yes, I'm getting to my poem now. Here is my poem. So on Friday night, I will set the scene. Friday night, we're watching our favourite TV channel.
Yes.
The shopping channel, Ideal World. It's a great channel. And there is one person who we love watching. His name is Peter Simon. And he is a TV legend. He was on the BBC many years ago. And now he presents on Ideal World, selling things. And at the start of his show on Friday night, he said, please send me email, send me anything, send me a message, anything. So I decided to write a little message to him in the form of a poem. And at the start of his show, the woman he was presenting with, Peter, said that her elastic in her knickers had snapped. So that gives you an idea of the type of show that it is. Sometimes it's a bit risky and, sometimes a little cheeky.
Although it is really a show about selling things.
But
it's
it
a
is,
shopping channel.
it is really a shopping channel.
But they have a bit of fun, don't they?
Imagine my surprise on Friday night when my poem was actually read out.
Listen, you don't know what you've done for Caroline Knight and I. You've honestly, you've cheered me up so much. And just before I read this, can I just say, the gentleman who owns the cobbler's shop in Whitby, right, could you email me tonight, right? He's a wonderful man. He's got this beautiful cobbler's handmade shoes shop in Whitby, and I adore Whitby, right? Can you email me, because he sent me something the other day. I'll be honest with you, this is at my age. I put it down and I can't find it.
Oh, that's annoying.
Right, but no,
Yes,
it gets better.
okay.
Right, listen to this. This is from Duncan.
Okay.
On a sticky Friday night, everything will be all right, with Peter Simon being fantastic and Caroline minus a support elastic. So many watches at a good price. That's the value of Constantine Weiss. Oh, Dunks! Dunks, I love you!
So there it was. That was my poem. I went into my studio and wrote it in about 20 seconds. And then about 20 minutes later, it was actually read out on air. So now I am officially a published poet. I've been published.
Well done.
I might be the next poet laureate. Who knows? So there you go. That is now my new claim to fame, besides being a superstar on YouTube.
Except he didn't call you Mr. Duncan, which was slightly annoying. You put Mr. Duncan on your poem.
Yes, I wanted him to say.
Didn't read
I
it
really wanted
out.
him to say. I wanted him to say Mr. Duncan.
Hundal Techno is from India, and I don't remember seeing anybody watching us from India before, so welcome. Have we ever had anybody watching us from India before?
Yes, I've got lots of people watching. It's one of my most viewed countries, actually. One of the countries with one of the most populated viewers or viewership. Yes, India. Hundal, welcome. You are more than welcome. That's great.
Oh, so people are commenting about that's how we've... Yes, I know what people are saying. Sue Cat and somebody else just above. Just go. Can you go up a bit?
I will try.
Vova says, you had a chance to understand how we all feel when you read our messages.
Oh, I see.
So what people are saying is how good you felt when your poem was read out is how people on the live chat feel when we read out their comments. And I've often said that, haven't I, Mr. Duncan, which is why I like the live chat, that if someone makes a comment, they do like to have it read out.
Yes.
And which is why we try to read out as many of them as we can.
We always try to read all the messages out. Caridas mentions...
Ce n'est pas une pipe.
It is a famous painting of a pipe by René Magritte. And the picture is a painting of a pipe that you smoke. So you use it to smoke tobacco. And underneath it says, this is not a pipe. And the reason why he's done that, he's playing with the concept of art and imagery. So it's quite an interesting painting, because what he's actually saying is it is a painting of a pipe, but it isn't actually a pipe. It is a painting. So I actually love that sort of thinking. I love that sort of creativity. Now that is what we call very creative art. It's very creative. It means more than just one thing. So yes, I like that very much. So I know that very well. I know that picture very well. Hello everybody, Mr. Steve and Mr. Duncan. The fantastic team.
Oh. Thank you for that comment.
I think this is the best channel to learn English. Thank you very much. Gol Calicio. Thank you very much for that. That's great. We are going very soon. We will be back on Wednesday, of course, talking all about the drones and also a bit of poetry.
Yes.
And also anything else that comes into our big brains.
Which won't be very much.
Hopefully.
Yes, it will be.
Hopefully there'll be something there. Let's have a quick look outside, because the birds are going crazy today. Look at the birds. They are going quite frantic because there is a shortage of insects because we've had so much rain. So when the rain comes, all the insects disappear. And so the birds have to find somewhere else to feed. Actually, earlier I counted 20. There were 20 birds on the bird feeder earlier. And now, as you can see, there are none.
That's because I've just scared them all away.
I think so.
That's a nice shot.
And there is today's view. That is a live view looking over into the distance. It's very windy, very cloudy, and that is a live shot right now out of the studio window.
Who's that down there? Is that really who I think it is?
Who do you think it is?
Yes.
There?
Yes. Is that a picture of the person that always makes lovely comments about what I'm wearing?
This is Pedro Belmont. Would you like to see Pedro Belmont?
Has anybody else seen him?
I haven't seen him today on the live chat. I don't think he's here.
He's not here today. Well, let's save that for another day then, shall
Okay,
we?
we'll save that for Wednesday when Pedro is here. But we have a video clip that Pedro sent in a very long time ago. So that, yeah, well, we'll do that on Wednesday
Okay.
because Pedro isn't here.
I don't
So
know what he's doing.
I think he's watching his
He's skiving off.
He's watching his favourite TV show.
He's skiving off from your live stream. Skiving off, which means he should be here, but he's doing something else instead.
Maybe something more interesting.
Like when you skive off from school.
That's
You're
it.
supposed to be at school, but you go off, doing some shopping or something like that. Doing some. Well, I don't know about shopping, but you're not there. You should be at school, but you're not. You're skiving off. Probably gone on holiday with your parents.
Let's have one last look at the live chat before we disappear. Let's have one last look. Lots of people saying hello. Oh, Saudi Arabia. Someone from Saudi Arabia is here. Unfortunately, I'm not sure if anyone has heard of Saudi Arabia.
Heard about Saudi Arabia.
Of course we have.
Maybe something's happened in Saudi Arabia today. I don't know.
Oh, I see. No. I think Hundal is saying. Archer says I'm not sure if anyone has heard of Saudi Arabia. That's what they're saying.
Oh, right.
Trust me on that, please. What are you going to do on holiday? Yes, we are having a little break soon, aren't we?
We are. We are
going to have a short break because we have been so busy this year doing all of these live streams.
Anna says, will you do a live stream during your holiday? I believe Mr. Duncan almost certainly will do a live stream during his holiday. Maybe a surprise one. Though.
I've got news for you. We won't. Because
not on a Wednesday, no, but you might do an impromptu live stream.
No, we won't, because the place we're going to has no signal.
Ah.
It is actually free of all signals. So we won't be able to do a live stream at all. Unless what?
Unless they've put a new booster tower up somewhere, which means that the signal is better than it was last time we went.
I don't think there will be. I think that area is completely free of all technology. So, no, to answer your question, there is a chance that we will not be doing any live streams from the place we're visiting because there is no signal. There is no way of actually putting out the live stream. I suppose we could use the Wi-Fi in the hotel, but their Wi-Fi isn't very good. So, because I remember from the past, the Wi-Fi was a little slow.
It was indeed.
So I don't think we will be doing that. It's unlikely, but we will see. I will take everything with me because we will do some filming. I think we will do some filming while we're there. I've broken it again, look. I don't know how I keep doing that.
You see, I broke it once and you blamed me.
I've broken it again. I've broken the live chat. I don't know how that does that. I don't know how that does that.
Never mind, we keep going anyway.
It's very annoying. So we will see you on Wednesday. We will be having a holiday the week after. So we will be with you in August on the 1st. And also on the Sunday, we will be with you. But on the following Wednesday, which I believe is the 8th of August, Wednesday, we won't be here. So I will be here on Wednesday and also next Sunday, but the Wednesday after we will be having a little bit of a holiday, a bit of a break. And the neighbours, the neighbours are coming round to actually visit and look after the house. So we've got some neighbours coming here to stay, and they're going to, maybe they will do a live stream.
Well, that's what I was wondering.
So I will leave the studio ready just in case they decide that they want to go onto the internet to do a live stream. So we'll leave it for them to decide. Anyway, we're going now.
We are. I'm going to have a tea cake because I didn't have mine earlier. Please send in your guesses as to what this object is. There is another part to it.
Yes, there was another part.
It's not a blue banana. It's not a sex toy.
No.
So what is it?
Bye, Mr. Duncan. The live chat is back. I fixed it. Please Mr. Duncan and Mr. Steve, see you soon. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Gloria. Hello, Gloria. Gloria Ubong. Sorry, I didn't say hello to you earlier, so I will say hello to you now. So see you all later. We are going now. Have you enjoyed it, Mr. Steve?
No.
Oh.
Interesting enough, the innocent culprit is asking, why do you drink ale warm in England? I don't know. We just do.
I think it's all to do with the taste.
It is beer. Beer is normally drunk. Beer or ale is normally drunk at room temperature.
Yes,
whereas
because
lager, which isn't a traditional British drink, is always drunk cold. And believe it or not, beer does taste nicer if it's not too cold.
Yes.
Beer or ale.
So if you have
it's an acquired taste.
the dark brown beer, so it's very brown looking, very dark. So normally we serve that at room temperature, but I think it's all to do with the taste. The taste, it tastes better. If you chill it, then all of the taste disappears because it's ice cold.
It's a bit like wine. Red wine's supposed to be served at room temperature, but white wine is supposed to be chilled.
I see.
So I think it's the same between beer and lager.
I don't
One's
know.
better.
I don't know about wine.
Well, red wine is supposed to be served at room temperature, and white wine at a cold temperature.
Thank you very much for all of your lovely messages. I will show you some more nature pictures and some more video images on Wednesday, and we will see you later. It is coming up to 4 minutes away from 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yes, Caradas Guinness can be served cold or at room temperature.
That's it.
Some people, it can be either.
Do you like Guinness, Steve?
No.
No, it's all right, but it's very bitter.
I don't mind a small amount of it, but I used to drink it, but I can't drink more than a small amount. It's too heavy.
It's like drinking engine oil.
Yes. Oh, the comments are still coming in.
I did not know that you are... I'm sorry about that. I will not do it again for that kind of behaviour. Oh, I don't know what that means.
It's a joke.
Goodbye, Belarusia. Goodbye, Hasna. Goodbye to the innocent culprit. Goodbye to Sujin. And we will see you on Wednesday night at 10 p.m. UK time. Don't forget to check the time difference. So we're going. Well, Mr. Steve is going first. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Bye-bye for now.
Mr. Steve is going to have his tea cake now because I think he might be a little bit peckish. So we'll see.
A cup of tea.
We'll see you later then, Steve.
Bye-bye.
Have a great time. And Mr. Steve is now going. Bye. Bye.
I thought you were going to fade me away. Oh, you are.
I have. Mr. Steve has faded into the sunset. And I will also go as we approach 4 o'clock here in the UK. This is Mr. Duncan in the birthplace of English saying, I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. There is a lot to take in, but don't worry, you can watch all of this again. And of course, there will be subtitles later as well. So you will be able to see the subtitles when YouTube re-uploads this video to the site. Okay, I think so. This is Mr. Duncan, of course, in the birthplace of English, that is England, saying thanks for watching me today. I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you on Wednesday, 10 p.m. UK time. And of course, you know what's coming next. Yes, you do. Ta-ta for now.